thought we deserved to win it. I said that against the last game in Chivas, and I'll give a lot of credit to the guys. We went down 1-0. It feels that every mistake that we make at the moment, we get punished for. And I think that's a valuable lesson for us. I hope we learn from it, and I hope we continue to move forward. But I don't think any of the guys hung their heads. I think they kept working hard. I'm very proud of them. And with everything that we've gone through at the moment, I think it's a tremendous sign that, one, they didn't give up. They knew what we expected, what they expected of themselves, and I take that as a big positive and a big plus for the players. They continued to try and find a way to win, and some of the football that we played I thought was very impressive. Given that you would say the conditions today are probably more suited to Dallas, we continued to try throughout the whole game. We tried to put them under pressure. We tried to play our game at home and create rhythm and tempo in the way that we played. So I give a lot of credit to the guys.
Was there more urgency and pace to the game after they scored that first goal?
Yeah, definitely. That's always going to be the case unless the team don't respond as they should. But I think their response was absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And again, if you're on a bit of a losing streak and you've got young players and you question the mentality in the past and you question the leadership, for that response, hopefully shows that some of the players are maturing. Some of them are starting to give a little bit more, sacrifice a little bit more, and I think that's a positive. The urgency, I think we controlled the game prior to that, so we didn't have to take the risks that possibly we took, and that we were creating chances. I think even if you look at the number of shots that we had when they had a man sent off, it was still double what Dallas had. So we were controlling the game, we were creating chances, and when you don't put the chances away, being a defender and being in that position in the past, it's hard not to be a little bit negative in that position and start to say, when are we going to score? Because it is every mistake that we make at the moment, we are getting punished, and hopefully that changes.
Coach, Chris Boyd had no touches during the run of play in his 60 minutes. What are you guys going to do to try to get him the ball more?
I think we got the ball into dangerous areas. I think Chris has played a game in conditions that maybe aren't suitable to him. Look at where he's come from. The amount of time it takes for foreigners to transition to this league is something that Chris has addressed himself. But in training, you see the quality of the individual and the quality of the finishing. In a game like today where it gets a little bit stretched in the attacking third, maybe we've got to do a better job to get him on the ball, and he's got to do a little bit better job to find the ball. But I don't think the conditions are ideal for Chris today. But it's something that we addressed, and we'll move on.
You substituted both Chris and Brent.
Yeah.
At the same time. Why was that decision?
It's just a system change. We went with two up top to try and apply a little bit more pressure and push our wide midfielders a little bit higher, trying to keep them camped in their half. And I think it worked. If you look at the chances that we created, the movement of Danny and Bright, I think it was effective. The urgency from those two was very impressive, and we started to get a few more chances. So, we were going for the throat at that stage. We were down by one, and we had to do something to positively affect the game.
You were saying that you get punished for the mistake. What was the mistake on their goal, or what did you see on that?
You always try and hang me out where you mention players, and it's just a simple mistake from a defender and not tracking a runner, and we get punished. I forgot who it is.
Gavin, talk about Frank's game.
Frank was good. I think he had got a bit of a rough deal from the referee. I think he was constantly being fouled, and he did well to keep writing challenges, keep working with it, but he opened them up. And for Frank, he's a special player, and we need to get Frank doing that week in, week out, because you've seen what he can do, and now we've got to start to get him on the score sheet a little bit more. But Frank is a player that, since I've been the interim head coach, has been nothing but, at home and by and large on the road, nothing but fantastic, and we need to keep building that. I think Darlington, again, was effective at moments throughout the game. I thought Khalif, when he came on, was effective. We're getting a lot of young players who are coming in and playing with confidence, I feel. I think if you start to see some of the passages of play, some of the movement, our ability to keep the ball in tight spaces, some of that to me is impressive. And players are playing with a little bit more freedom. And now we've got to cut out the mistakes and play with that freedom and finish our chances.
Gavin, the role of Diego has clearly changed. And pushing him forward and playing him wide, he seems to be really responding to that.
Yeah, we've taken the leash off him a little bit. We're asking to pressure a little bit higher, and I've never seen an engine on a player like that. I'm very impressed with his mentality, his work ethic, his desire, and he's a player that epitomises what we want to be as an organisation, and that blue-collar mentality, the ability to just work, his unselfish mannerisms and the unselfish way in which he plays, I think is first class, and Diego, I don't speak about enough, but to me he's a phenomenal person and an even better player.
Can you talk a little bit about Jack's goal and what it means for the captain to score and bring the team back to a draw?
Takes you back a little bit to the start of last year where he was getting in good positions. I think it was a great strike. I thought we could have had a couple. I thought Hartman was absolutely fantastic for them today. So for us, you know, for Jack, I think it's tremendous. He, again, has taken on a new role with this team. Since we've changed a few things, he's sitting a little bit more, freeing up Diego Chara, and he's done it with tremendous maturity, and he's been very productive. It's not all roses as such because we're still not getting the wins, but we're seeing enough positives in the way that we're trying to play, the changes that are happening to start to believe that the tide is turning.
Gavin, you were up in the box a lot more talking to the players. Are you starting to sort of get a feel of how you're dividing up responsibilities being the interim coach of this team in terms of with all the other coaches? Are you starting to get a system now?
No, I think we have actually a very, very good understanding with the coaches, and one that I'm very happy with. I think all the coaches have an equal voice, and my voice is no greater than theirs. Obviously, I deliver the final message, and that's the ultimatum as such. But I think with Sean, with Amos, with Cameron, with Tosh, they all play a role. Jim Rylett comes in and is very effective. Today, it was possibly just wanting to get a little bit more urgency, and I know it was hot, but we wanted to keep the accelerator on. So either myself or Sean or Amos were constantly up, constantly trying to get a little bit more out of the players to see if we could. And you know, whether it works or not, we'll see. But I think the responsibilities have been divided, and it's a collective group all going in the same direction.
Gavin, was there a sense of frustration with the way Dallas, it seemed like they hit the ground often?
I know maybe they didn't deal with the heat too well. I don't know. So it's frustrating. It's also you've got to do it at the right times, and for them, it's a level of maturity. It's managing the game, and it's something that we need to learn and also do better on the road. And there's no harm in them coming in and frustrating us. If we did that at our own home venue, there would be tremendous problems. But you know, it's for them, it's maturity in managing the game. It's something I don't approve of. It's something I don't like, but I understand it. But that's all I can say about that.
Thanks, everyone. Locker room's open.
Thank you, Jonathan.